All right, solo cast here today. Let's see, it looks like I'm on screen, and audio should be good. And I'm gonna rant at you today about who knows what. I've prepared zero. All I can think about is frickin' screwdrivers. So I don't know. I'm working on this morning on the micro screwdrivers, and then then working on like the T handles. You know, the cool thing about the Wera stuff, if you didn't watch the video yesterday, is that, you know, the struggle, the tendency is to do all of, like the bit style. But I realize I still like traditional regular screwdrivers. And so some of the things like T-handles take up so much space. And so if I can use bits or inserts, so I have one T-handle and then like 100 bits, I would really like that. It would just be a much more suitable storage, much more storable. And so I'm working on that. Same thing with I love little micro screwdrivers, but I mean, how often do you use those darn things to like adjust your glasses? What is this junk? And so, you couldn't see that anyway. Oh, now you can see this. I doubt Chris had any kind of order to that. So, I think that doing the like the little insert bits on the little screwdrivers as well, like the little micro screwdrivers, makes sense. So I'm working all that stuff out, and like the little pouches that Weir does, I don't like their little pouch option. So my brain hurts. Yesterday I had a splitting headache. So you know, I just kind of work through it, and then, you know, no matter what screwdrivers I choose, everybody tells me I need to choose something different. But I really like these weird screwdrivers. I think I could probably buy a bunch of others, but I can just tell this is the one for me. So let's see if you guys can help me out today. That would be great. Let's see. Help me out with questions today, because Chris is slacking. He's I'm not sure. Who knows? He's always running around somewhere. So the more questions you ask, the better. There's only 100 of you in here or so. So I've been gone for a couple of weeks, and I didn't want to wait another week. And I wanted to talk about RS update and all that stuff, and share with where we're at. So let's see. Hello from Ottawa, the nation capital of... It's funny, I saw a bunch of signs in Alberta say, "Don't Ottawa our Alberta." It's like, "Don't California our Texas." I like that. I thought that was kind of funny. Let's see. LR says, "I have a skylight in the garage. The roof slopes up to meet it. And at 8 feet up, there's a series of rafters to help support the roof skylight. What should I do for lighting? The garage is 23 and a half by 24. So let me think about this. So there's the skylight, and then there's a kind of a vault, I guess. And at 8 feet up, there's a series of rafters to help support the roof skylight. Yeah, that's kind of hard to visualize, I guess. You want some semblance of symmetry, if you can help it, in your lighting, just so it looks cool on the ceiling. But I mean, I would think you could probably figure out ways to mount LS fixtures. You might have to do a little bit of surface mount. I think surface mount conduit can look good if it's bent well and done well and somewhat organized. And if you try to keep the boxes at a minimum, I think even if you don't have wiring up there, you could probably do a pretty decent job for you know, in getting that all set up. I think that could be you could get the lights where you want them to get them without having to cut a bunch of drywall and stuff. And if that's not an option for you, so best thing to do with lighting, especially if you're gonna spend the money on it, if you're willing to spend the money and do something like Cree or do something like our OG fixtures, just hit up the design at obsessedgarage.com, and Kyle and the team, they can kind of help you figure that out and get you what you need. Let's see. Hey, Matt, can't wait for Canada. Saving all my bucks for a shopping spree. OG Canada. I'm excited you made my week. Oh, I'm gonna talk about Ottawa. So, you know, I just got back from Canada. I've never struggled so much to get back on regular time. I feel like I want to stay up super late and then sleep in till forever, because although it was only 2 hours, like, you guys in the north, I don't think I've ever been that far north in my entire life. Yeah, I never have. That's the furthest north I've ever been. And then in the summer, the sun rises at like 5 a.m. and sets at like 10 p.m., which means really you can see the sun at 4:30, and it gets dark at like darn near 11 o'clock at night. Which is really cool, but it kind of messed up my whole schedule. It's really weird. So today I had to fight myself. Normally I just kind of wake up around 7, and then we usually go to the gym. So around 7:30 would be like the latest I would normally sleep, and normally I'd go to bed at like 11 or something like that. And so the timing kind of messed me up, and I think a lot of that is I was gone for 7 days, probably the longest I've been I guess I've gone to Vegas several times for that many days. But even then, that's 6 days. So that's the longest I've been away. So it was really 8 days because it was Friday to Friday. We came back Friday. But I had such a great trip. I'm sure I'm going to take tons of heat of people that just don't get it. Like, Matt, you should stick to the U.S. because there's only X amount of people in Canada. Or, Matt, you should really go to Ontario. And I listened to those things and realized I need to stop listening to anybody and just follow not so much just gut, but follow what passion, what's driven by what am I excited about? Forget passion. What is exciting to me? And if it's exciting, then I'm going to work harder at it. I'm going to get it frickin' done. It's oftentimes it's difficult. No matter how motivated you are to do things that you don't like doing, and we all have to do things you don't want to do. I want to eat cake 4 meals a day, but clearly that's not a viable option. But in this case, Calgary is a distribution hub, although it would be more logistically sound to go to the East Coast, to go to I don't know, the Montreal would make a lot of sense, but go to Toronto area or go to Windsor, Ontario, or something like that. But I don't know, it's just that this place speaks to me. And then when I say to people like, hey, by the way, this weird teenage girl TV show that I'm so fond of is driving a lot of my decisions, it's hard to comprehend. But it's like most things, like the custom install pressure washing solution. I mean, now that you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it didn't exist. No one was doing that, and now it makes sense. And so I think that I set up Calgary operations. We start shipping stuff all over Canada. Our Canadian distribution will become, I think, extremely successful, and it'll be an additive to what we do here in the U.S. And it will also help me figure out how to have a remote warehouse and expand the company outside of just my purview here in Florida, and then that would afford us the ability to. Maybe it makes sense for us to have a West Coast operation as well. And so we set up a West Coast warehouse. And then from there, it's something in Scotland, Ireland, something like that could be really cool. So we had such a great time. It was the first time in my entire life where I felt present. I was there. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not at home making car washing videos. I'm not working on the next product. I'm not like wound so tightly that I felt like I was wasting time. And it's the first, I guess, technical vacation, even though I vlogged the trip, and I made sure that I only vlog. I like vlogging. I like the camera. It like gives me an excuse, gives me something to do. And so it's not really work to me, and putting it together is kind of fun to watch back and put together. And so it's not like even though I vlogged the whole time, it really wasn't like working hard at it. It was a lot of fun to me. So my next steps are to work on. I have to work on the legal aspect, and so I'm going to be looking for. If any of you have a suggestion. I just don't think I want to work with a big company. I think I want to have a local, Calgary CPA, so like a sole practitioner or somebody who works for a small shop to help me on the Canadian side of taxes. And then Eric here and Joe, my CFO, they can help me, kind of put it all together. And Eric's astute enough to do all that, and then avoid some of the some of the struggles of having too many cooks in the kitchen. I am going to need to find probably a real estate attorney and tax attorney as well. I don't know that I'll need a real estate attorney yet because I don't plan on buying property, but I don't think you can own, as a U.S. citizen, I don't think you can own Canadian property. I think the way that it's done is some sort of like 99-year lease or something like that. Maybe one of you can comment how it would work. I'd like to purchase a Destination OG facility or a warehouse or something like that. But if you didn't watch, go check out the videos we did of the trip, and if you're not a member of Inside the Hex, if you join, you'll get access to the RS giveaway. So check that out. What does Matt think of Bryce Cadio? What's Cadio? Is that his cat? I don't think about his cat, if that's the question. Let's see. James Clark came by. Thanks for having me at OG today. Now that he lives here locally, come on by and visit anytime you want. Max says, have you experienced radio interference with Cree lights affecting your garage door opener? If so, do you have a solution? No, I haven't had that at all. I mean, it should be operating on a different frequency. I'm assuming he's maybe having some issues there. I think what could likely solve that is maybe you'll need to take and put the so let's say that one of the POW packs was right next to the garage door opener. Maybe flip it around to the other side of the light. Like if you have a line of lights, get it a little bit away from that. But yeah, I haven't experienced that, and I didn't think it would be on the same frequency, but I would just try to get a little distance because mine are right above my garage door openers up in the attic there, and I haven't had any issues. So Rob Salviotti says, which has better quality, Sonic or Vera? As I start getting these fancy tools, it shows me, how decent the Sonic stuff is. I mean, all the Wera screwdrivers are made in Taiwan or the Czech Republic. So, a lot of the stuff is very similar. It seems and looks very similar to mine. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the stuff are made, like it seems like the torque wrench is probably made by the same company in Taiwan. It just, the Wera has a little bit more design attached to it. But I do like the ergonomics. I like the sort of the little cuts in the little grippy cuts in the holding function screwdrivers and stuff. So, and then what I was really spending a lot of time on, I'm going to make a video probably Monday to show you all of the other tools, because I bought everything that Wera makes. I bought all the combination wrenches, and they have some unique tech that they've added in. And I really like the Sonic ratcheting screwdriver or ratcheting wrenches. I just got all the Snap-on stuff, all the Snap-on ratcheting wrenches as well, and so I'm just kind of working through that. But I think that a lot of people have suggested PB Swiss. I have a couple of those. I also have a couple of Kleins, just kind of thrown in a box somewhere, and I just was never really in love. Maybe there's been a pretty resounding amount of people saying you need to try PB Swiss, so I'll probably order some more of them just so I can make sure that maybe I have the wrong one, like maybe I don't have their best one or something like that. I just really, really like the Wera handles, and for most of us, posers, I could see Wera becoming a problem if you're really doing some greasy, nasty stuff. It probably wouldn't be my screwdriver of choice because those pretty grips probably get pretty dicey and probably become hard to clean over time. But I clearly, if you saw the video that I put up yesterday, I'm having a freaking blast, man. It's so much fun ordering all this stuff. So keep an eye out. I'm going to start putting little packages together of all the Wera stuff at like 35% off retail. Just stuff that I touched and didn't really use, but didn't really make the cut because I ordered basically one of everything. So I'm going to have all kinds of sockets and ratchets and wrenches and T-handles and screwdrivers, tons and tons of screwdrivers. I don't need 517 screwdrivers. So as I narrow it down, I'm selling off all the stuff. I'm not sure where we're going to put it. I'm going to probably, I guess, maybe put it on the website somewhere, and then I'll just continue to refer to it as I add stuff to it. But I'm going to have Wera, Hazat, Snap-on, all kinds of stuff that I'll be selling off at huge discounts. So keep an eye out for that. Matt, what is the optimal OG spec shampoo you use? I'm assuming he's talking about for hair, not for the car. I don't know. I just use whatever Michelle's using. She has this fancy Brazilian shampoo, and I just use that. So I think it's pretty expensive, but she uses like 3-to-1 shampoo to conditioner, so she always has extra shampoo. So I use that. Elon says, I grabbed a few Zyklop kits. They're top notch. Yeah, the Zyklop ratchets are pretty cool. I don't think the Zyklop ratchets will be like my ratchet, but I do think that having those for because I'll show it to you in the next video, but the heads kind of flip basically 180 degrees back and forth. So there's some neat features to them that I think I want them in my setup. But I'm not sure they'll be like the primary. If I can pull it off, I'd love to have the KTC. The Nepros ones are probably going to be my ratchets of choice, but I'm ordering all the Hazettes, which is going to cost me a fortune. But yeah. Sunny says, are there going to be RS door pull keychains in the giveaway? I think so. Bryce said the other day, maybe Bryce can chime in the comments here. I think Bryce says he'll have them done. So they're pretty close. I mean, it's like a seatbelt nylon type thing that's pretty close to the ones that I have. I think it's my favorite keychain. I should have brought it over with me, but it's basically the 997 door pulls that they convert to a keychain, but they're like $120 a piece, and so we're making them for like, I don't know, $10 or something like that. So it's pretty close. Yeah, he was talking about head shampoo. Yeah, maybe Michelle, if she's watching, she probably isn't. She could chime in on what we're using. Just got my wheel and tire package. Can't wait to try it out. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's cool. All the screwdrivers are giving me anxiety. Yeah, it's hard, man, because now I'm doing much better at this than I have in the past. In the past, like, I already have the Hazette catalog digested, organized, cut and pasted, and spreadsheet ready to submit my purchase order. But I'm not submitting it yet because, well, one, Wera was going to dictate some of the things I may be settled on that I may not need to try. And so I may delete some of them. But I want to get all the Wera sold off, put away, figured out what I'm doing with it, what am I keeping, categorized, structured, and then I'll move on to the Hazette stuff. And so, like I said, again, keep an eye out for all of me figuring out all this stuff and selling off the stuff. Brandon Panter says, I have a 2018 M3 and was wondering what's the best process to upkeep the leather. Is color lock stuff a one-time deal or what? No, so color lock is absolutely I think the best way to go. I've tried all kinds of stuff. I've said this a million times, but I think you leave leather to the leather people, and most of the detailing companies they don't leverage the leather people. Like, for instance, Swissvax. I think it's Leather Milk is like Leather Shield, and so Swissvax has leveraged some leather care specialists to build their leather care line, but most of them are just they're just using a blender and a recipe and coming up with some stuff to spritz on your leather. So I advise, let's just leave the leather to the leather people as long as the experience is good, and the color lock experience is great. And so so it's 2018, so the first time you treat the seats, I would use strong cleaner and the leather care brush, wipe it off. Then you'd want to hit them with leather protector. So the rule of thumb is if your leather is 3 years old or more, you would want to add leather protector and probably put that on once a year maybe. And so leather protector helps to kind of reinvigorate the suppleness of the leather without adding a bunch of shininess to it. Put leather shield, wait an hour or two. Leather protector, wait an hour or two, then put leather shield on. And then from there, if you're going to treat the leather, I would use mild cleaner, maybe once every 6 months, unless it's a family car and you're beating it up all the time, maybe every 3 months. Do mild cleaner with the brush, and then just put shield on. Mild cleaner, brush, shield, mild cleaner, brush, shield, then mild cleaner, maybe then strong cleaner, brush, leather protector a year and a half later, depending on if it's just your car. Like mine, I probably wouldn't do leather protector, but every maybe 2 years. But you would use that to just clean regularly, and then just use whatever your interior cleaner is, Griot's, P&S, and just wipe the seats down if you ever get something on them, because the shield will protect her from that. Thanks for all your questions, guys. I needed some help here today. Joseph Korger says, welcome back. Thanks for that. Please buy the Beater Super Manual for a daily so we can live vicariously. Yeah, I thought about buying a Super Manual and then doing having my friend Matt Schaefer do like a crazy audio system in it. So it may still be in the cards, but I want to get through the 997 RS giveaway, which is in effect now. It's doing great. By the way, the dock comes out tonight, so make sure you check that out. It's freaking incredible. We need all the help we can get to get that thing moving so that people can see it. It's freaking great. And then get through the E36. I'm still not able to really drive very much, so having 4, 5, 6 cars doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm hoping to kind of simplify my car life, and I'd like to kind of work on some of the house stuff, work on wash and drive, get that moving like we planned, and get my wash bay is going to have to change. Remind me, I need to talk about the wash bay, what I'm going to do there, because I can't do it the way I wanted to do it. I've got the 5th person telling me I can't do it the way that I designed it. It's just, with wind shear loads and issues, it's just too off the deep end. So I'm not going to do any cars for a while. I have started looking kind of loosely at 458 Speciales. By the way, the RS giveaway is killing it. So if I did like 3 months, I could pull off a Speciale a bit. The only thing that might worry me a bit is that most of the people watching are going to be more BMW Porsche oriented, but I think even all of us BMW Porsche guys can likely appreciate a 458 Speciale, because that's freaking cool. All right, Alex says, doing a deep dive on tools as well. So far, it seems the consensus for wrenches is that Snap-on is unbeatable. Nonsense. Have you looked at wrench brands yet? Yeah, I don't mean to say nonsense. I don't think so, but we'll see. The Nepros wrenches that I got are freaking awesome, but they're really, really long. So I'm going to get some more of those. The Vera ones have some really cool tech, but wrenches are going to be one of the harder things for me to decide. The Snap-on ones are pretty simple as well. And I don't dislike the Sonics. So we'll have them all out, and I've said this 100 times. If I like something Snap-on better, I've just took another $3,800 order today. My Snap-on guy came by, so I got my buddy here. I won my garden gnome. So I'm gonna have them all next to each other, and that's gonna help me, figure out, do I like the Hazettes better? Do I like the Stow Wally or whatever it's called, or Giador or Facome? Or I'm gonna figure it out which ones I like. But it seems like the only one that has any kind of tech is the Wera, and I'll show you that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't dislike the Snap-ons, but we'll see if they're my favorite or not. Hey Matt, you talked about listening to Dr. Jordan Peterson, which I've been listening to him for years, and he's really changed my life. Would you consider bringing him on the podcast? Well, considering there's 200 of you watching and we get like 5,000 views, I don't think that I could get him on. I think that he and I could have a great conversation, but I don't know that I'm balling enough to get, there's only a finite period of time, and he has 8 million subscribers or something like that. But what he's referring to, Vigor Auto Detailing, what he's referring to is I talked about on the last podcast. There's got a couple of people unsubscribing from me, I'm sure, about how the messaging of guys like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson, now they're not in the same category, but the idea that men are not designed to be weak, that you should have like a job, you should have a greater purpose, you do have responsibilities that are assigned to you at birth, and things like that. I fully subscribe to things that I teach my own son, and And some of the traditional roles that we've had since the beginning of time are not necessarily the world's worst thing. And so Jordan Peterson is extremely eloquent, and if you don't like him, I mean, there's something wrong with you. You don't. This whole argument of you have to agree or disagree is freaking nonsense. How about just listen? Shut your mouth. And until you have something formed, like most of what I'm talking about, I formed a thought process where like I'm dealing with screwdrivers. I bought every screwdriver that seems to exist, it seems. And so I'm speaking to that sort of stuff. But when you say, well, I don't agree with what he says, well, just don't agree or disagree. Just listen. That's my advice to young men. Just listen. You don't have to have an agree or disagree. And then I find that the weak tend to use the term lie, like you're lying. That's not something that has a strong moral compass. Like you don't hear Jordan Peterson saying she's lying. No, he's listening and then he's speaking on something that he's hashed out. And whether or not he's the world's foremost expert on some particular topic, someone of great intelligence, someone that's well read, can speak to things that they may or may not have a degree in. Like, for example, I've really been watching a lot of Robert Kennedy, who's running for president. It's the first Democrat I've ever seen that I would be interested in voting for, and just listening to him speak about it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about listening. And so, although I speak a lot, I tend to listen more than I speak. And because I'm on camera and you guys only see me, I'm on a solo podcast here, so somebody has to talk. Can't be you because you're not sitting in this room with me. And so most of the time, the reason why I'm able to speak about screwdrivers or vacuum systems or pressure washers or a GT3 RS is because of all the listening that I'm doing and learning about the process. So that's what I think is so great about Jordan Peterson, in that I would wager most of the time he's not on stage, the dude is listening and reading and learning, and he's not accusing people of lying and cheating, and he's simply speaking on topics that are that he's hashed out. So anyway, I don't know how I got on that diatribe. So Steven asked about the vacuum system. I just shot the video like 5 minutes before I came in here. It's going to launch Monday for Inside the Hex, so it'll be launched pre-order for a week. And then in the week after that, it will launch pre-order for others. I know that we have 50 and 50 and 50. We have them coming, and so I'd assume it's going to be sold out for a while, so we'll be taking it on a pre-order basis until we catch up to your orders. But you'll want to get your order in as soon as possible. If you're not a member of Inside the Hex, maybe this is an enticement. Go become one. Just keep an eye on the site. It'll be in the banner images. We'll probably post on Instagram as well, Facebook. But if you're a Hex member, you'll be able to purchase it. Package 1 is $925. That's everything without the hose reel. So it's the accessories, it's the CV300 unit for modern day, or the vacuum, the canister vacuum. It's the hose, and then you would either coil up your hose, which I wouldn't recommend, and put it in your cabinet, or figure out some sort of hose storage option. We haven't figured that out yet. Or it's, I think, $1,300 if you add the Cox hose reel. The Cox hose reel you can get in black, black, gray, or blue. I think maybe Tommy said the package is going to be black only. You want it in black because the black-white setup looks great. If you wanted something different, we could set it up a la carte. And then we have the hide a hose, either on-wall or mounted option, or in-wall option. So yeah, vacuum's launching with an expected delivery between you and me. I think it'll probably be mid-July. For the first rounds of people, expected delivery would be, we're saying August 1st. So you're theoretically less than a month away from delivering most of the initials, and we'll see how many of you. If 1,000 of you buy it, it's going to be a few months before we catch up. But it's really great. You'll see in the video. I didn't do like a formal video. It was more of just like a vlog style, because I don't have all of the parts and pieces with me here, because I installed them in my house or installed them in Helen, and installed them here. But Mike's going to do a custom install video here at Yarn Building. I had him take it all off the wall and we're redoing it, so that way we can make a video showing you how to do it. So that'll be coming up. I'm going to do all kinds of comparisons. I'm talking about different testing. So we're going to do something similar like what we did with the pressure washing system. And then the accessories kind of suck, but they're the best accessories that exist. And so we're going to have to create our own accessories. So we've been talking to some companies about helping us with that. Let's see. When are you going to test out DIY detail line? I think Tommy and Bryce and a couple of the guys have the stuff. So they'll let me know if there's anything that's really great that's worth looking at. I don't really test whole lines of stuff. I kind of trust my gut. And then I have a bunch of guys that when I get stuff. Right now I've been working on testing out the Build-A-Hammer stuff, because that stuff intrigues me. But if there's something great, also Ivan, he'll text me and say, look, you've got to get moving on. You got to try this. Let's see. Parker Smith says, a while back I sent you a DM of my father's 991.1 GT3 green car that had a set of aftermarket H&R lower springs on stock coilovers. I'm curious if you considered this option in the RS. No, I don't really. Didn't really want to lower the car, and I actually raised it up a bit. Generally, factory suspension. What I considered doing on it was the Tractic system, and then I talked to Jamie Dunn, and he said he didn't like that system. He says they tend to leak on the track, and so then I was thinking of either Moton, which Sean from PSI was suggesting I do, or MCS, which is what Dundon recommends. I said, you know what? It's handling great. I'm just going to freaking leave it alone. And so I did that. Let's see. Veerless says, thoughts on the proper way to become a financial advisor. I just started at a company and feel like I'm going to be a financial salesman for many years to come. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot for people, so let me see if I can summarize it. A financial advisor is someone who does a little bit of money management, but does a lot of psychological management, people management. And so you have to spend the lion's share of your time for the first 10 or 15 years on finding new clients. The managing the money, the building of the structure of the business, how you follow up with clients is really easy. And by the way, this applies to pretty much anything. If the detailing of the car is easy, but you've got to find customers. That's the hard part. You've got to sell. And so eventually you find yourself in a conundrum, and you don't have enough time to sell, and if you're not careful, if you're not continuing to build your pipeline, it may dry up. And so I think the key is figuring out a way to spend 80, 90, and darn near 100% of your time on building your pipeline in any kind of sales organization you're building. And so that requires you to then spend your off time, weeknights, weekends, stuff like that, figuring out how to make what it is you actually do. So the buying of the stocks and bonds and mutual funds, the investment management, the reading economic data and all that bull crap, you have to figure out how to make that super efficient, so that way you can go out and spend most of your time marketing. And I would advise you to figure out a way to market that, one, has a chance of success, but secondly is something you like doing, because then you'll do more of it. And that really applies to any kind of business that you're building. Philip says, Matt's going to get my money. OG Canada. Let's see. CJ says, the previous owner had installed crappy 3-inch recessed lights directly on the drywall. I'm not balling enough for shoot. This keeps happening around. Maybe I'm getting old and dumb. It's not DFM. It's DMF. Yeah, so he messed me up with the DFM. DMF lights. I get that. I don't think the DMF lights are a lot of money. Do you recommend going to a larger can and retrofit kit or something else? Yeah, 3-inch. That's a weird. I don't know what that is. So I wonder if that's in like a regular box, like a regular J box. So you may need to find some sort of J box style light. You're probably going to be limited, and to sort of cut like new cans in is, that's going to really suck. That's a huge project. You might even have room to do that up in the in the joist there, in the ceiling joist. So. Yeah, man, I think you're going to be kind of limited on what lights you can choose, and DMF isn't going to fit. So I think that you'd want to take a light down and see what it looks like there. If it's like a J box style, so if it's in like the regular box, there are some companies that make those. None of them are very good, but you just kind of have to find something that works. I did that in my home theater before I knew about the CR6s and stuff. I did like a J-box light in my home theater at the Woodgate house. It was terrible, but it was better than other options. Let's see. Joseph Korger says, do you find a traditional clay bar to be less abrasive than auto scrub? I find it to be a little more abrasive. Actually, because I'm pretty sure it is pretty significantly more abrasive. And, the clay bar is, if you have a really contaminated car and you really want to get it or do a really good job, you're not just trying to superficially get it clean because you're pretty certain you're going to end up with issues in it getting in, contaminating your polishing stage. A traditional clay bar is almost always a better option. Clay will mar, I think, more, especially than like the fine auto scrub. Oh shoot, we had a super chat here. Sorry, I need to scroll down and stay on track here. Jason Smith says, are roll-up garage doors a viable solution for residential garages? Any brands you recommend? Would need insulated 16 by 7 foot. So I've gone pretty far down this rabbit hole, and I actually did this at the Harbor Hills house, so the house before the one I'm in now, and I bought its T-Max roll-up doors, the residential roll-up doors. They look pretty nice. And actually, the Atlanta garage, his house garage, he did the T-Max roll-ups. I was never able to install them because, remember, the HOA was coming after me. It was, I think, about $5,500 for the two of them. So I had a 18 by 7, and weren't there two? Yeah, and I had a 8 by 7. And so those two, were about $5,500 or something like that. Now, I did use them at the Atlanta garage, and they are kind of slow. They move slowly, which is kind of annoying. A lot slower than a regular traditional door. But it's really, in that size, it's really our only option. Most of the companies that are making roll-up doors really aren't making them in that size. So a commercial style roll-up door is generally not gonna work as well for that sort of application. Plus, your door channel, like the channel of your doors, not really designed properly. So check out T-Max doors. I think it's T-Max. Let's see if they're still making them. T-Max roll-up doors. Yeah, I think he's still doing it. So they're in Texas. Their website's kind of hard to find. Yeah, it's not showing up in the search. They do have an Instagram. Oh yeah, here you go. T-Max roll-ups, right? Google showed up. See if their site's, yeah, it's still there. So you can call them up and talk to them about it. But that is really your only option that I know of for roll-ups. Let me go back to my chat box here. Ooh, another super chat. Yeah, if you want to jump the line. Spencer says, thanks, Spencer. Have you checked out Bryce's M340i yet? I have the same car. Curious your thoughts. I have not. I've been pretty running around. In fact, the other day I was like, whose car is that? And then Bryce sent me in his Friday report. I was like, oh, that was Bryce's car. I think we're going to do an AWE exhaust on it, so we'll get it on camera, and I'll get to play with it a little bit. We'll make some videos with the AWE. Ooh, another super chat. Improved garage. To the guy who asked about 3-inch lights, I did Cree CR4Ts, and their retrofit housings RR4s, which can be installed from underneath, and love them. I did a video on them. Ed helped, Ed W, which is our Ed, helped at OG. So yeah, go hit up Kyle and Ed, Kyle at obsessgarage.com, and maybe they can help you figure out those 3-inch lights. Let's see. Where was with the Cyclops? We talked about screwdrivers giving us anxiety a while back, about the springs, becoming a financial advisor, 3-inch lights, traditional clay bar. Here we go. Any updates on the new battery-powered solo sprayer? I know we have it. I haven't used it yet. I need to go grab it. I've seen it around. What's going on with this thing? I need to go grab it and see what the deal is. I know that they're having supply chain issues, so hopefully we can get it soon. Let's see. Hey, Matt, joining late. We are headed to Destination OG. This is Joshua Woods at the end of July. Any hope to have a car that I can borrow for money? Also, what about the racing sim? So the racing sim should be there up and running. The car will not. Best case, the car arrives around August 1st. And then I have to get it here and get it PPF'd and all of that stuff. So I'm hoping September. Brad Owen was just asking me about that to get the GTS there. So you'll want to look at like Turo Atlanta, see if you can find something cool to rent. But yeah, I won't have it there unless something crazy happens. It shows up like tomorrow. I won't have the car there in time for that. But the racing sim, full racing sim room, I should have done. I've got the chairs are there, the carpet's there, the acoustic treatments are there. I'm going to take the fan out, and then the guys are bringing the racing sim on July. When am I going? July 13th. So we're going to do it then. Vika's girl says Matt's Canadian at heart thanks to several episodes of Heartland. This is true. I do feel like I'm an honorary Canadian. Let's see. What was Blake saying? I get the not feeling like I'm there. I constantly feel like that. Always worried about getting my work done. Yeah, he's talking about the vacation part. I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Yeah, I'm always looking at the future. Let's see. Jeff Richards says hello. Hello, Jeff Richards. Let's see. Sean Rodriguez. Will there be a shorter hide-a-hose system instead of the 50-foot one? We could put it together for you. It really won't be that much different cost. What you would do is the hose you can just cut. You just cut the hose to length, and you would just not run the internal hose or internal piping. We're going to send like 80 feet. You could just cut it down. I mean, that piping is only like a few bucks per 8-foot section. So we could say maybe save in shipping and stuff like that. That's the other thing is to become a Hex member. It's going to be like $60 to ship all this crap or more. So you'll get free shipping inside the Hex. So if you're thinking about buying the vacuum system and you become, I guess you'd have to have a Hex Plus member. But you'd save 10% and free shipping. You'd cover your cost right there, I think. But yeah, you can do hide hose whatever you want, whatever size you want, and just hit up the guys. Hit up support at obsessgarage.com. They'll be able to custom build you something. Oh, the super chat, jump in the line. I like that. John Fries says, Matt, what brand of luggage did you take to Canada? I noticed the zippers pushed into a TSA-approved combo lock. Also look like dividers in it. Yeah, so I'm a big Toomey guy, and so I have like the tall. What do they call it? I think it's called like the Toomey, like tote duffel or something like that. It's really tall, a little skinnier, and has like divided separators in it. They're expensive. I mean, they're like. It's some of the best money I've ever spent. I want to say that one's probably like $1,200 or something like that. And then I have the other regular Toomey. I'm going to buy a few more Toomey suitcases. And I do the Alpha series, just the base Alpha series. The only thing that stinks about them is people steal my luggage tags all the time. And they're like $35 or $50 a piece. They're always stealing my luggage tags. But yeah, I'm a huge Toomey fan for luggage. I mean, if you travel a decent amount, it's something. I mean, you'll have that stuff for life, and it just freaking makes. I think you see everybody's buying all this cheap crap. Like, we're using Kate's cheap. She has like a Stitch suitcase. It's just not good. And then you register all your stuff, and it has like a TSA tag they can scan if you ever lost your bag and stuff. You can register it. It's just so much better than the other stuff that's out there. Let's see here. We talked about that. The Solo Sprayer Racing Sim. Jonathan Marcellus says he loves the Jokers. The Jokers are the Wera Joker wrenches. I do like those too. They're like it's like a new take on an adjustable wrench. Super cool. Dominic says, can you talk about your trip to Heartland? Absolutely, I can talk about my trip there. Some of my favorite parts. So this has kind of changed I talked about this in the video. The video's on the channel, on the YouTube channel, so you can check that out. You know, I was kind of reluctant to go. Like, this is kind of weird. You know, I felt like I'm imposing. I'm sure many of you that have come here or thinking about coming here to OG, I'm telling you, don't feel that way. It's like super awesome when somebody comes and visits. You know, it's great. It's like super validating. We want to show you around. We want to show off all the stuff we have. It's great to meet people. You know, pull up a stool and hang out kind of thing. Just don't be annoying. And if you think you're being annoying, then you're probably not. If you don't think you're being annoying, then you probably are. You know what I'm saying? So if you have any kind of spidey senses that you think, oh man, I'm being annoying, you're probably not, because you're self-aware. So you know, Heartland is a show. Just for those you don't know. It's a show on the CBC channel, so Canadian Broadcast Channel, and so it's partly, I guess, government funded, and it's a channel that's set in just south of Calgary, Alberta, in High River. They call it in the show, it's called Hudson, but it's set and shot primarily in the High River, Okotoks area, south of Calgary, about 30 minutes, say 25 miles south of Calgary. And so I started watching that show in like 2019 when I was losing my front tooth and was having major panic attacks, and I was just looking for something simple. I watched the whole series Heart of Dixie with what's her face from the OC, and then I started watching Heartland, which is ridiculous, and I just wanted something simple. Just so I'm sitting there having freaking full panic meltdowns on my own couch in my own living room. And I started watching it, and then I watched it again, and watched it again, and watched it again, and watched it again. And so I've kind of developed this affinity for these characters, and I don't even like freaking horses. It's shows about horses. So, it's a bit ironic's not the right word. I can't sort of grab the right word I'm looking for. It's like it's like something in my life that like entered into it, and Kate's kind of watched some of it with me here and there. But it's just, I don't know. It's like something that was supposed to enter into my life, something that I was supposed to watch, and so I feel like I just wanted to go and see what it's like there. And so it drove me to understand what Calgary is, or doing research on Calgary and Banff and Lake Louise and some of these other areas around the city. And so then I said, well, maybe it makes sense to it's just, I don't know, it's just calling me there. And so the trip there was pretty cool. We got to go to the main actress is Amber Marshall, so I got to go to her store, bought a hat, and Kate bought a bunch of stuff for Kate. And then we went over to the town, and where the Maggie's Diner is, that's one of the sets. So they have a bunch of buildings that are part of the set that are just kind of in the middle of like a normal town. Like nobody in the town really cares, because they've been shooting there for darn near 20 years now. So they're used to it, but there's not like a lot of people there visiting. It's not like tens of millions of people are watching the show, and so we were able to walk around and just kind of see stuff, And then we met, one of the actors, two of the actors, and saw a few other actors because they were shooting, and took a couple photos, and really got to see where all these scenes that I've watched a dozen times, got to see where they're all shot. So that was super cool. So Improved Garage says, super chat, thank you again. How do you like the Nepros ratchets? I really like the few that I picked up. Did you try the spinners yet? They're really cool. Yeah, so the Nepros I love them, by the way. So the Nepros ratchets have a little spinner that sort of clips in between the socket and the ratchet, where you can kind of hand spin, so it gives you like a little grip. It's a really neat little design. I love it. I haven't used it to do any project yet, but I'm in love with them. They're so freaking cool. So, and KTC is a Japanese tool manufacturer, and they have a line of tools called Nepros, which is their high-end line, which is the highly polished, polished stainless line. Looks freaking incredible and feels incredible and seems to function really well. Just really precise. So, yeah, I'm in love with it. Jeff Richards, I'm interested in the Swiss Tracks flooring for my garage. My math comes up to 621 square feet. I'm trying to do the garage on my own due to budget constraints, but I'd like to support your business. Yeah, man, I appreciate you buying from us. I mean, our pricing's pretty good. You don't need us to design it. If you go to the Swiss Tracks page on the site, there's a floor designer there. If you ask for help, just hit up support@obsessedgarage.com just to make sure you get it right. We don't charge anything for that. We don't. If you're buying the floor from us, and if Manny and the team need some help, they'll pull in Ed and Kyle and Scott if they need some help from them. But yeah, have us make sure that we do it correctly. So you order the right amount of flooring. They can give you some tips. And then you do it all yourself. And install's so easy. Just watch some of the videos I've done on it. You can knock it out in a day or less. 600 square feet, half a day. Really, really easy to do. Jeff C says PB Swiss are legit. I'd definitely be looking for some deals on the cast-off tools, though I'm probably only going to want the stuff you're keeping, as we have similar taste. Yeah, that's the thing. But some people would rather have a deal. A lot of it is I just have redundant stuff, like I have a lot of the VDE and EDC screwdrivers and stuff like that I have too many of that you'd probably still want. Zyklop ratchets are neat and have a place, but definitely don't want them to be your only ratchet. Agreed. Christopher Davis says, any thoughts on various car companies moving toward Tesla NACS style chargers? I love it. I think it's fantastic. So they just announced Rivian, Ford, I believe, are going to adopt the Tesla network, which I think was probably the plan from the beginning, but all these guys are being stubborn. That's what we need. We need a universal network for electric cars, and the Tesla network is far superior to anything else. So it just makes a lot of sense. I think it's great. Let's see. Josh, I just talked about the quick spinners. Ever thought of doing a hex member only drawing? Yeah, someday we'll do something like that. We only have about 2,300 members. We had 2,400 at the peak, and then when we transitioned to the new platform, we've kind of worked our way back up. We'll cross over that number here pretty shortly with the giveaway helping find some new members. So I think maybe someday we could do it. I think we'd probably need about 10,000 in order to start doing giveaways for that. Then we can do it a little bit differently. What's your initial opinion on the Nepro socket set? I really like the fit and finish on them. Yep, I think so too. That's LR said. I think it's freaking fantastic. John Freese, I answered his question about Toomey luggage. Parker Smith says, additionally, absolutely in love with my 100-foot OG garden hose that I bought for the giveaway on a completely different level than the junk Continental hose I bought from Home Depot. Yeah, so Continental has hundreds of different hoses for all different type of industry. The Frontier hose is an industry-level hose. You won't find that at Home Depot. It's a Continental Frontier. It only comes in black, blue, and red. The red is pretty hideous. And the black is not really very nice, so we only do it in blue. Let's see. I'm not sure what turkey hair transplant vlog means. Snap-on is a rebranded tools at higher prices. Some Snap-on is made elsewhere. Somebody taught me how to pronounce Stallville wrenches. This is Brad saying are legit. Not my main wrench, but have a different box and angle than any other wrench. Yeah, I'm going to check out some of those. The Anglo-American Tools is my dealer for all of the German stuff, or wholesaler that I can buy from. What would you say exactly if you're going door to door if you were a detailer? Door to door is really tough today. It used to be a lot more viable. You'd want to create an elevator pitch that was, say 30 seconds or less. And I think you'd want to be really gracious. Like, if you can get somebody to take your card, I would tend to be less forward and less like let's say you rang somebody's doorbell. I'd probably go up to them and say, as I'm sort of I'm kind of leaning away or sort of working to walk away. Hey, I know this is awkward. I don't mean to. I don't want to ring people's doors, but I have this passion for washing and detailing cars. I just wanted to give you my card. That way, if I just stuck it on your doorstep, you wouldn't know who I was. And so I wanted you to put a face with the card. Just wanted to hand this to you. If I can ever help take care of any of your cars, please give me a call. Thanks. And I'd be like, as I'm kind of pulling away at the time. You're going to get very few FUs if that happens. The problem is the doors you're going to want to knock on, you're not going to be able to knock on. The neighborhoods you can get access to are not the neighborhoods, the cars you're going to be taking care of. So, that's going to be the difficult part of that conversation. I think you'd be much more successful building your business on Facebook, trying to get into different groups, providing value, and asking, the group founder, you don't really have money to spend to be sponsoring stuff, but hey, could I sponsor it with knowledge, kind of thing, and just say, if somebody came to me and had some, let's say I was managing, I don't know, some Mustang group or something like that, or McLaren group, and I had some young guy who was super articulate and was hardworking, and said, hey, how can I participate? But instead of saying, rephrase that, instead of saying how can I participate, make a request. Here's what I'd like to provide, and make it valuable to them. It doesn't have to be money. And I would try to get involved in as many local groups as possible, and then maybe do your elevator pitch at car events. That same pitch I just said, instead of knocking on people's doors. So you're kind of knocking on their car, if you will. Brandon Silverio says, "What's up, Matt? What's going on, Brandon? Hey, give me the Porsche. Keep buying stuff. I might give it to you if you win." Supercars of Calgary. I very much agree with you, Matt, about all of this. Sorry, I just had to tell you that I do. Oh, okay, cool. He must be talking about Calgary. When you were working in wealth management, did you ever trade options? I did not. I don't really see much of a point. That's a whole nother diatribe. Ooh, super chat. Risky65, $5 US. Thank you. Hey, Matt, what is your method in removing water spots, and would it be safe to polish a UV filtered windshield? Thank you. Water spots are dicey. First thing you try is to see if you can remove it with a chemical, which I've never had any success doing. So Optimum MDR, CarPro's D-Scale, or Spot. There's all different brands. Kamikaze has a really hefty D-Scaler as well. So you want to try to remove it chemically. If that doesn't work, you're going to try to polish. And the problem with polishing is oftentimes you swell the paint if you're polishing. You have to really get at it to swell the paint on most paints. But what will happen is the paint will swell up. It'll kind of close up the pores, if you will, of where the mineral etching is happening, and then it will disappear. And then when the paint settles, they'll come back. And so what Jason Rose had taught me from Rupes, formerly McGuire's, said, oftentimes to remove a water spot, you need to restore the conditions that created it. Meaning, if it was hot out, let's say the sun was out and there was some like acidy rain, or the sun was out and the paint temperature was 140 degrees or 130 degrees and it got hit with some hard water sprinklers, you would need to get the paint back up to 130 or 140 degrees to do it. Maybe not quite that hot. And so I have an infrared light, like I forget what brand it is, a Revo. I have a Revo infrared handheld light that I had to use on my M3 one time when I got water spots that wouldn't come out. I polished the crap out of it and they came back. Polished the crap out of it, they came back. So I heated it up and then lightly polished it while I heated it up and I had a thermometer as well. And I heated it up to, it was right around 120 degrees, and then I was able to do a couple of quick passes right after that, and it was able to get the spots out. So you need to restore the conditions that created the problem. UV filtered windshield, I think you'd be okay polishing that. I don't think you'll really affect that, but I don't know that definitively, so don't hold it against me if you mess it up. I don't think you'd mess it up. How would you prep a old windshield for coating? I would clean pretty heftily with some straight 91% isopropyl alcohol. Then I would polish with whatever compound, say, I don't know, Sonax Cut Max and a microfiber cutting pad. If it's really old, I'd get some rayon pads from CarPro or Sky's the Limit Car Care. I'd get some Siri glass, which sucks to work with, but get Siri glass and polish it with that. And then you'll clean with isopropyl alcohol again, and then you're ready to go. So the polishing is more cleaning than correcting, but you want to get it deep cleaned, and that'll help your stuff take care of, it'll take care of making sure you're prepared to accept whatever you're going to put on the windshield. Christopher Davis says, what's your thoughts on using car covers if you don't have a garage but want to keep your car in the best condition? You have a ton of trees, lots of pollens. The problem with a car cover is, you can help protect the vehicle, from like UV and stuff like that, and sap and things like that. But you're going to just resign the fact you're going to have some more surface level scratches, because really you should only put a car cover on right after you washed it. I guess if you had an exterior really loose car cover, the problem is when you put it on, even if you roll it on, you're still going to be sort of moving it on the paint, and we have a bunch of dirt and pollen and stuff on it from your previous drive. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's kind of like using a California duster. Yeah, you're getting the dust off, but you're also pushing the dust around on the surface. So although your car will look clean, it's very likely scratched. So, the other thing to keep in mind that a lot of people don't think about was a car cover is now you're making it nice, especially if you covered it right after the rain or something. It's nice and damp. You're creating a great place for rodents and things to go scamper up under and hide. So I would have a tendency to not want to cover the car and think more of figuring out a way to get some sort of a little carport or something you can pull into. So generally outdoor car covers I'm not a huge fan of. Supercars of Calgary. Also, if you need any help finding any sorts of contacts in Calgary in the future, let me know. I can help. Haven't been there in a few years, but still made some contacts. Thanks. Good advice, SR. Have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we listen as much as we speak. Yeah, quote from my granny. I like that. Oh, that's when I was talking about Jordan Peterson. Got my Signature Scents bundle today. Now my house is smelling like leather and pine. Love it. Yeah, so the scent stuff is available. We have more coming, so don't hesitate to order. It gets you entries. Any thoughts on the 850 CSI that sold for $266,000 to bring a trailer? Yeah, I mean, these cars, I've been, they're gonna continue to appreciate the ones that people want. I wouldn't want that, but Steve M says, "Hey Matt, are you holding back one high torque center lock torque gun in case the GT3 winner would like to buy one? We'll just get him one. I'm sure." What's the OG spec deep water submarine? This is so freaking stupid. I don't understand why there's such a big, like, every YouTube video, every news story. Why are we talking about some freaking idiots who go down 2.5 miles down in the ocean? Like, of course, these are like thrill seekers. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? You know, you're going to go climb Mount Everest and some people die. I mean, I'm not going to climb Mount Everest. I don't want to die. So I don't understand why they're covering. It's so freaking stupid. Any news on the DI resin tank setup? We just ordered. We just had a meeting yesterday. It's going to take longer than I thought, but we're finalizing our designs, hopefully, to go into production order. And but yeah, no updates for you. But updates for me, yeah, we're getting closer. Matt, is it a good idea to ceramic coat new bathroom sinks and faucets? I've never done it, but it's probably not a bad idea. Dominic says, why didn't you spend an extra day with your family in Heartland? I did. We were there for a day. We got what we needed. Let's see. I heard the guy who built Adam LZ's GT3 RS has it for sale. It's not for sale. I don't think I can tell you what. I think they're kind of waiting to announce it, but it's not for sale. It's already been taken care of. Let's just leave it at that. Let's see. I just got an email about the Journey Pursuit of Perfection. Well, where can I watch it? Yeah, it will go up at, I believe, 5:30 p.m. today. So it'll be on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch our video. Let me just look. I'll tell you exactly when it's going up, so you'll know. So this is our documentary that we made on the GT3 RS. It's 26 minutes or so. It's freaking awesome. Wait till you see it. YouTube Studio content scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be up at 6 p.m. You'll be able to watch it. On Sunday will be the commissioned painting, and we'll also have the prints available for purchase of that'll count toward the RS giveaway, and that'll be on Sunday. And then tomorrow will be the launch video of the OG vacuum system for Inside the Hex members. If you're smart, you may want to keep checking the website because they may put it up a little earlier. Not the video, but the system may be available to Inside the Hex members quicker. Let's see, where was there's the bring a trailer. So we might have to settle on a Corvette. Yeah, that's Brad renting a car for driving the mountains. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Nepros? I already talked about that. Have you seen the luggage brand called Soul Guard? I have not. Let's see, how are the cinnamon rolls up north? I didn't find any. Did you ever look at Briggs and Riley suitcases or Rimowa suitcases? I have not. Maybe I'm missing out. I'm kind of stuck now. I bought these darn things, so I spent a lot of money on the Toomey stuff. Let's see. Matt, what program do you use when designing the garage? We're using a software called Home Designer Pro. I don't have access to that. You have to have a license for every person. I just have Home Designer, which is it's like $80 or something for the software, which works great. And so I use Home Designer personally, and then our team uses Home Designer Pro, which is like, I don't know, it's like $2,000 or something for each license. We were going to use Revit and CAD, but the Home Designer just does such a better job at modeling everything for us. So we've been using that for several years now. It's pretty fantastic. Jack Hay says, all else equal, would you have a 991 GT3 RS or 992 GT3? I keep thinking, 991 GT3 RS. 991.1 GT3 RS is more my car. I'm waiting to put more miles on the Brewster before I make that determination, but I don't know. I'm thinking the 991 is the better car. The 992 is the better car, but better for me. I like it. I think I like it more. Let's see. I talked about how to get more customers if you're a detailer. Did I miss the answer to my super chat? Yes, I did. You must have missed it. Where was his? Bryson. Yeah, Bryce's M340. I did answer that. I haven't done anything with it. We're probably going to do an AWE exhaust on it. I did go on the Snap-on truck today. Spent another $3,700. That was, and that's where I got my gnome and a special edition shirt that I may or may not have on in a video here coming up. Yeah, that I think you might get a kick out of. Matt, buying my first house, so many OG orders incoming. I like that. Can I order a top for a desk through OG? Yes. Hit up design at obsessgarage.com. We can design that for you. You want the Rubio Mono coat, like either the one we did in Helen or the one I just did in my house. It's way better than, like, this is an uplift top. The ones for the Blue Tree are making us are fan-frickin-tastic. Let's see. Srin Compter says same thing. First home under construction. Black Friday, going to see a lot of orders. Thank you very much. I like that. Is there any chance a track day could happen as part of the GT3 RS giveaway? We were going to do something with that, but I think I may have canceled it. I don't know. It just wasn't feeling. Now the car's worth too much money to do anything like that with it. Let's see. Christian, this is back to probably where we're talking about marketing, local cars and coffee events. Sponsoring is difficult if you don't have money. That's the hard part. If you don't have a lot of money, if you're starting out, it's hard to sponsor things. That's why I say you could probably convince, if you're a hustler, you could convince people to sponsor in a different way, and not have it be all about money. Let's see. Are you planning to try any Gador tools? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Those aren't speaking to me. I've gone through the catalog. I'll probably get some, but I don't know. That one just doesn't seem to resonate with me as much. Hazette, I think, is resonating more, but maybe I'm wrong. Also, what brand of articulating TV mount is in your family room? It's a mantle mount. I hate articulating mounts, but this one just goes up and down. Normally I only like flush mounts, but I'm stuck with that stupid fireplace. For now, we're going to be tearing that sucker out here, I think, this year. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if this is public, but that Matt was selling his LZ GT3. Oh, they did announce it. Okay, he's selling it to Freddie. Yeah, he announced it in the video they posted today. I thought maybe they were going to announce it. So Freddie owns the Tavarish owns the Adam LZ's GT3 now. Go to windshield wipers. Have you used Bosch Icons? I have, but I tend to stick with OE. They tend to work better for me. Let's see. Really like Pia wipers. I used to like Pia wipers too. They were always good on my S2000s. Matt, can we get a total count so far for the GT3 giveaway? If Chris was here, I'm sure we could figure it out. I think we've sold. I think we've sold probably $550,000 worth of stuff, $600,000 worth of stuff. So 600,000 entries. Because it's $1 per entry, right? And then there's probably some douchebag mail-ins. So let's just say 600,000 entries, and let's say you spent $1,000. So divided by 1,000, you'd have a, what is that? A 1 in 600 chance or something like that to win. So I mean, if we've done 600K thus far. We'll do a boatload of stuff in at the end, toward the end of the thing. So I think that we'll probably end up having like 1.5 million in entries or 1.2 million in entries, something like that. So that helps out. Let's see. It was super cool to see you tour around my city, the Mitch Cave says. Excited for the future of OG in Calgary. Who knows? Maybe I need a career change to design with Kyle. I could very realistically seeing us having a Canadian design person. I don't know if they'd be in Canada or here. I'm not sure. But, find the right person. We can do whatever. Let's see. Rimowa is really good. Aluminum outside, German made. I'll check it out. Those were suitcases, Sean Rodriguez says. Best interior cleaner for a customer dirty interior. A lot of people use all-purpose cleaners, but I'm just not a fan of that. I would probably use color lock artificial cleaner on it if I needed something a little stronger, or strong cleaner, which is designed for leather, but I would use it on the door cards and dash and all of that stuff. Revolution Detailing Supplies in Calgary. Hello. Hey, man. So maybe someday we'll catch up there. So this is something a lot of people are saying, well, Matt's going to go to Calgary, and that's really going to hurt this or that company, Carzilla or whatever. I said, I don't think so. I mean, we're doing something very specific. In fact, I think it'll raise, the rising tide tends to raise all ships. So I'm bringing my stuff there, and then we'll be able to wholesale stuff as well, because I intend to. We just had a meeting about getting our wholesale division figured out. It's going to take us some time, but I think it's going to help us all, being up there. Do you think it's worth spending money on a rental house like cabinets and lighting, and save it for a house instead? I've done cabinets and lighting and stuff in a rental house, and then just took it with me when I left. So, Tin Noak says, how often do you train? Or are you planning to do some CrossFit competition in the future? I've done several CrossFit competitions. I hate doing them. It's a freaking waste of time. You go there, they plan like 4 3-minute workouts, and you sit around all day for 8 or 9 hours. It was also like that playing beach volleyball. I play like 3 games an entire day, and because I got to get everybody through like cattle, I hated it. So I train. I've been trying to do something every single day. I don't know if you see it, but I'm a little bit fitter in the last couple months. I'm trying to take it, instead of doing a crash diet, working much slower at it. But I do CrossFit usually 4 to 6 days a week. I just did it today. But yeah, I don't like competitions. They're freaking stupid. I've done 6 or 8 of them, and I hated every one of them. What species is the Rubio Monocoat top? Mine is walnut. Now that you've had multiple outdoor kitchens, what's your favorite countertop, and how do you like the concrete? Concrete's okay. I think the granite's the way to go. You use waterless wash for your wiper fluid. Would it make sense to add a cup of isopropyl alcohol to lower the freezing point for colder climates? I never really thought about that. I don't know what happens to isopropyl when you dilute it. Does it still lower the freezing point? I'd still be inclined to use something that will help with lowering the freezing point substantially. Do you have a Dunn & exhaust for your 992 on order? Yes, I just ordered it last week. I'm doing the titanium center sections. Have you heard other systems on GT3s? I mean, I think I've probably heard all of them and had at least half of them. It's the one. If you can afford it, if you can swing it, it's 100% the one to do. I got a good way. Let's see. Matt misspoke. OG vacuums are starting Monday. Yeah, Monday. The video's going up Saturday, and the Inside the Hex vacuum pre-order will start Monday, and then the following Monday for everybody else. What cleaner would you use for rubber horse stall mats in a gym? Just an APC, like Goshkemi Green Star. That could work. I usually use something like I don't know, like a floor cleaner from the grocery store or from Walmart or whatever, the Home Depot. I used to use like Pine Sol, whatever, or something or other on it. What's your thoughts on outdoor lighting for house and landscape? I love it. We have it at our house now. I'm going to do it from now on. I've always wanted to do it. I haven't really spent any time figuring it out, but there's got to be some cool stuff out there. Let's see. By the way, I was the one who sent the email with the pictures of all the Snap-on boxes at Boeing. Oh, that was Sean. Yeah, freaking Snap-on boxes. God dang it. What type of chairs do you use in your office? Herman Miller, X chair. What do you recommend? I really like the steel case chairs. That's what I have now. I wouldn't recommend the steel case leather. It kind of gets a little beaten up. But yes, check out the steel case chairs. They're really sweet. I like them a lot. Can't go wrong with Herman Miller, like the Herman Miller Aeron. Chris has one right here. But I really dig. I never really loved those. I like that. Any update on when Built Hamburg products will be in the store? I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but maybe someday. I don't have an update for you on that. Jack Hayes says, also, do you have any cleaning tips for BBS LMs? By the way, I meant other systems on 992s. The sound has a surprisingly different character to 901. Oh, I got you saying. Cleaning tips on LMs. LMs suck to clean. I'm using the what's it called? Brake Buster, P&S Brake Buster. I'm going to coat them first, so that way it makes it easier to clean. So I'm going to take it off and coat it with CarPro Deluxe and 2 coats of Deluxe, 1 coat of Gliss. I'm cleaning it with P&S Brake Buster, and then just blow drying it off. Still not quite sure what he's talking about. Other systems on 992s. The sound is surprisingly different character 991s. The biggest difference in the 992 is that it has the OPF, so you need to get rid of those particulate filters. Let's see. Matt, have you ever tried doing a mono speaker setup in the garage instead of a stereo audio source that deflects using one source? Seen it a couple of times in highly reflective areas. Yeah, I mean, I find that with a decent pair of stereo speakers, it's not really a problem. You know, generally anything mono, you're gonna lose a little something, and I mean, everything's recorded in stereo. So when you do any kind of mono, you don't have a mono source, so now you're converting it to mono, and I don't know. It's just I prefer to have a pair of speakers if I can help it. And even if you're doing like most like little Bluetooth speakers, they're still providing some sort of stereo type sound if they're decent. But yeah, generally I prefer that. What time is it? 3:20. Other questions? Do you have any questions or thoughts on tiny Fosse amplifiers? I don't know those. I've never come across that. Yeah, maybe I'll have to look that up. What's the chemical in Ulex? Is it similar to isopropyl alcohol? I don't think so. I think it's a concentrated citrus-based type solvent, that breaks down adhesives. It's freaking nasty, though. But I'm not sure what the base of it is. I never looked at the SDS report to get an idea of what it is. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'll wrap it up. I'm gonna go fiddle around with my new Snap-on junk that I just bought, get that unboxed and put in a bag in the corner. I'm waiting on my toolboxes. I guess I got a commission number or whatever you call it on my toolbox, so that means that it's in production, and I get to spend a zillion dollars on it. I'm excited for the tools and the potential giveaway in the future of this stuff. Of the toolboxes and the tools, and then like I said, keep an eye out on the sale of tools. RS giveaways in full effect. Keep buying stuff. I really appreciate it, and we're getting close to covering the cost of the car. It'd be nice to make a few bucks on the thing. That'd be cool. So anyway, thanks for being here. And for those of you that are Inside the Hex members, I put a bunch of videos up. I took this week off. I didn't have much to say in the vlog, but I got a bunch of stuff to talk to you about next week, so I'll be back on there. But anyway, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Thank my bro. seat. I'm gonna have to start sitting on a fancy chair, people.